Listen, I have a problem, and I'm here.
I'm trying to source them locally. Sounds like we're talking about like some fresh local eggs or meat or something, but we're talking about Skittles.
What's your go-to candy at a movie theater?
Like to bring with me?
Yeah. She loves Good and Plenty's.
No.
Red Hots.
No.
I'm gonna tell you guys this.
Albanese.
Your boy will mess up some Werther's Originals.
The hard candy?
Yeah, you pass me.
Okay, I can't even talk about that.
You bring a purse full of Werther's Originals and give me one? Oh, I'm good.
Like you're gonna eat a bunch of them?
Yeah, I'm suckling
You're
on
like
that.
a grandfather.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Wake and Post Show. We're the host show with your most show, Mo and Joe. And we are presented, as always, by Werther's Originals,
Yes.
our sponsor. They pay our dental bills.
They send us floss.
Yep. Speaking of floss, I would imagine that the person who got you to floss was probably your mom.
You would actually be wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it a dad thing?
No. My sister-in-law is a dental hygienist.
Ooh.
I mean, I was always told,
Okay.
my parents never said don't floss, obviously. Like, they weren't like, no flossing. But
They're like pounding on the bathroom door. Are you in there flossing again, Joanna?
but I generally had pretty good dental hygiene just as a kid. I really liked to have good dental hygiene. But my sister-in-law is the one that really
Okay.
sold me on the flossing.
Yeah.
What about you? Was it your mom?
I didn't start flossing until I was an adult.
Oh, it could have still been your mom.
My mom is actually the type of person. Ooh, I don't want to think about this honestly. But she's the type of person that has one of those like picks.
Water picks?
No.
No. Oh.
Like the
No,
dental.
the original
the
one.
hook. And she uses that.
Wow.
Thing. Oh, I hate even just. I'm cringing. Like
Yeah.
my hands are doing bad things.
Yeah. Well, speaking of moms, it is Mother's Day.
It is Mama's Day. Yeah.
Yeah, well, not today.
No, not today.
But it's
close
coming
enough.
up. Yeah.
Every day is kind of Mother's Day when you think about it.
Yeah. So my dad was deployed when I was a sophomore in high school, and both of my siblings are older than me, and they were out of the house. So it was like me and my mom at our house, and we had very like.
So she was out of prison at the time.
Yeah. So we were very like Rosie the Riveter type of lifestyle during that year, of which we were like, we don't need to call anybody, like we don't need a neighbor, like we can fix this. And we thought also that we should redo my bathroom at the same time. I'm not sure. I think we were just feeling really excited and empowered, which, you know, great. But I was actually really good and still am pretty good with like electrical stuff, like changing the sockets, like changing the actual sockets themselves, like removing the wiring, putting them in new sockets.
Oh, that's scary.
And you can see where the story is going. And so we were changing out the sockets from like an ivory to a white, you know, more modern.
Yeah.
And my mom was downstairs doing the breaker, and I'm upstairs, and she's yelling to me like, the breaker's off. The breaker wasn't off. No.
Oh, God.
So then, it gets better. She comes back upstairs. I'm laying on the ground because I've just been electrocuted. And she freaks out. But then, like, I kind of recover. She's like, this time I'm going to turn it off. So it'll be good. She goes downstairs. She yells to me, it's off. Nope, it wasn't off.
Oh,
and I'm on the ground again. And then finally we do actually call somebody, to our friend, to come.
You didn't just
help
hit it
us.
a third time, just slip them all off?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. And also I don't know why we didn't think to just like, now I know, like you either have one of those tools or you plug something in to see. This was our first time, you know, renovating with my dad being gone and no one else helping us. So
that's good. You decided to play it safe after 2 strikes.
Yeah, we didn't go again.
Third shock,
my
you're
body,
done. So yeah, that heart's getting a
it.
real reset. Yeah.
But it really did make me feel really encouraged about my future electrical work. I already know what it feels like now, so it's less scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any good mom stories?
My mom is a saint. I
Yep.
should say she was the person who taught me anything about any merit of like any semblance of merit that I have in my life, I should say, was presented to me by my mother. She was like the type of woman who worked multiple jobs because she was a single mother for so long and just took care of my family. So I got to see like a servant's heart for the first time was represented in my mother, although she wasn't like attributing that to Christ. I feel like Christ was an influence in her life and she didn't even know it. She's like 4 foot nothing and she's just like my biggest supporter. So shout out to Mom. She's probably watching. But I think, man, my mom used to she had a lot of sayings and stuff, like a lot of these like little things that she would repeat, and they were
like mantras or something.
Yeah. And she would always be talking I'm not going to say that, actually. Now that I say it's kind of problematic. Like most mom things are. All right, one that I always remember is I went to my friend. My mom was like really picky. She's a very picky eater. Okay. She has a weird relationship with food. Her maybe this is getting too deep.
No, we can get deep now. It's fine.
I just want to.
Okay. In general.
Yeah, for my mom. But anyways, when my mom was a kid, her parents weren't really in the picture very much, so she had to take care of her younger siblings, so she had to cook for them, and so she always had this weird relationship with them. Yeah, but because of that, she resented cooking. She didn't really enjoy the process. It seemed like it always seemed
she
like
did it for so much longer.
And like a chore, and she just had a real relationship with food and stuff. And so she was always kind of a picky eater. Like, we never grew up with fish in the household. Like, I never ate fish until I was like a teenager and started going to other people's houses. But another thing that we'd never eaten before was lamb. And so I went over to a friend's house and I had lamb chops for the first time, and I was like, this is kind of good, actually. I'm kind of backing this. And I remember going home and asking my mom, like, hey Mom, like, why don't we ever have lamb? And I remember, without missing a beat, she looked at me and she goes, just because Mary had one doesn't mean we all have to. I think about that so often with her. She's just a very witty, quick.
Which I feel like lamb, and you probably didn't realize this at that age, was not something that a lot of people really commonly have at their house. Like, I never had lamb growing up.
You never had lamb?
No.
Really? Did you ever have lamb growing up?
Very rare.
Okay. Wow.
I just don't think it's not like.
Comment down below if you had lamb growing up.
It's not like the chicken of the dinner world, where it's very versatile.
Wait, chicken is the chicken of the dinner world, though. That's the issue with what you just said, was you said the thing.
Whatever. Anyways, lamb.
The chicken of the pasture? I don't know what that would be. I don't
know what that would be. But, yeah, she's pretty witty. Yeah, in all seriousness, it is Mother's Day. It's an important day to celebrate our moms, and I think it's also an important day to think about all the many people that are not just moms, but that are affected by moms, and us as kids, of moms. We are children, and thinking about how it's not always a super happy day for everybody. And it also can depend on where you're at in your own life and in your own relationship with your mom. I think for me growing up, there was kind of phases of me and my mom's relationship where we, during that time where we're changing sockets together and getting electrocuted, we were super close. And then when I got a little bit older and went away to college, our relationship got a little bit strained. And so I think at that point in my life, I look back on it, and for one, when I think about Mother's Day, I regret those times that I missed out on being a brat, and where I wasn't appreciative. And now, so it's kind of a two-part Mother's Day thing where I'm sad and upset at myself that that's how I acted, but now also even more appreciative of my mom and all the sacrifices that she made. And I think now seeing her be a grandmother and kind of reliving what it was like to almost, it's not like she's raising the grandkids, but seeing what it was like for her to be around us as little kids and my siblings and all of that. It's kind of a new chapter in my family as a whole, but in my family's experience with mothering.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth thinking about, even if it's not a traditional mother in your life, but who were the people that played a maternal role in your life that raised you and nurtured you. I pray and hope that each of you, someone comes to mind when we talk about that. Could be a grandmother, could be a father, whatever it was, but whoever gave you that nurturing love that you needed. Maybe.
And even just maybe for seasons, mentors and people that you had in your life for certain seasons while you were going through certain things.
Yeah. So I hope that you guys take that as a prompt to reach out to those people. I know everyone's pretty good about this time of year, but just to think about who those people are, and maybe the people that aren't getting as much recognition as they deserve, to maybe just reach out to them and let them know that you love them and that you appreciate them. I mean, I really resonated with what you were just saying now, because my mom is a grandmother now. She's really young as well, but she's a grandmother, and just watching her pour love into her grandchildren, that's a love that I've never given to another human being. Like the amount of love that my mother has for her grandchildren is like exceeds the love that I've ever seen anyone pour. You know, it's insane to watch that. It's just like, it just magnifies, I think, as you grow older. And I just think about my mom a while back. Like, my family's gone a lot of different directions. We had some rough patches here and there and stuff. And eventually we all ended up back into a space where we're in a relationship with Christ. And through all the years, like, my mother was never a churchgoer. She was never someone who, you know, reads the Bible or anything like that. It wasn't a presence in our home, as I've spoken about before. But she said something maybe a year ago or so to my sister, who was talking to her about this, you know, how it was cool that we all ended up in a space where we were serving God. And my mother said something to her, and she said, you know, I'd like to think that it's because you guys got to see my relationship with God. It was the first time I'd ever heard my mom say anything like that before, and realized that, like, everyone's relationship with God can look a little bit different. And that even, like, I would have always said, like, my mother has no relationship with God, but the fact that that's been in her heart, and that she feels as though she does have a relationship, and that she exuded it and, like, influenced us in that. And while it was never, like, a conscious, like, thing that I picked up on, like I spoke earlier, like, she has been a constant, like, reminder and pointer to Christ, and a supporter in my life, but also just seeing her servant's heart was such an influence on me. So, you know, I think as we're, like, looking at Mother's Day, we don't necessarily associate that with the church very often. I think it's kind of a separate thing, but just to think about, you know, Christ's influence on mothers and the communities around you who are lifting you up, because, I mean, Christ the Father, because I think God the Father is the original nurturer, right? So it all points back to him. So whatever that means to you guys, I hope this is an encouragement to glorify the people around you and just, like, lift them up on this this Sunday.
And to check in with them and make sure, you know, maybe somebody in your life is having a hard time on Mother's Day. We don't always know what people are going through, so to be, you know, sympathetic and curious about their experiences. Yeah.
And also, just one more thing, actually, while we're talking about it. It's worth noting that we should also be thinking about the people that we're nurturing and the people that we're stepping into. Like, we're not in a space where we're not parents yet, but we can still serve maternally to people that are around us. Like, we can still give back in a nurturing way. So think about that this week, like, as we're celebrating the mothers and the people who are serving motherly roles in our lives. Who are the people that you're serving in those ways, and how can you serve them better? Anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
I think that's all.
All right, love you guys.
See ya.
Hope you have a good Mother's Day.